Michael, the unbeaten run and continuing with a decent point on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think in the end it was a good point. I think we did really well first half, and then I thought the second half they sort of came after us a little bit, and we had to dig deep and we had to defend well. I thought our defending was really good. But yeah, I think all in all a good point away from home, and we know against a team that probably shouldn't be where they are in the league. But yeah, pleased to get another point.
And when you came in, probably defensively, that was the strength that you were picking up. Obviously, it's been very good lately. It's built on personalities, and you in general, when you have an injury like you do to Adam, then Pordy comes in, you've got a good group of defenders, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been really pleased with all five of, if you like, the centre halves: TJ, Alex Mitchell, Pordy, Sean, and Jacko. So I've been really pleased with how well we defend. But I think what we're really good at now is a team. We defend really well as a team. We're a strong unit. We're connected. And I said whenever we are successful, it's when we're really connected defensively as a team. And I think that came under a little bit of pressure on Tuesday, and I thought we saw that out really well.
What about Sean? We've been talking to him today. I think he's sixth most minutes for a Lincoln player, outfield player this season. I think he's still, 2021, something like that. And he's played a lot of minutes at League One level already. He's probably one of the more experienced players of his age at this level. What do you make of him, and where do you see him going? Is he for you a left-sided centre-half, whether in a 3 or a 2 as a centre-back, or do you see him playing as a full-back?
I think Sean's one of those players that can do all of those, really, and I think his ability with the ball's really good. I think his experience, like you say, and he's growing all the time. I think when he gets higher, he's really impressive, and his defending's been really diligent, if you like, at the moment, especially in 1v1 situations. I think he's really is most comfortable as left of the 3, but he can do the other roles as well. But I think he's just growing and growing and growing, and the more minutes and more performances he puts in, he just keeps moving on. So I've been really impressed, and hopefully he can keep growing, because I still think he's got a long way to keep growing. I still think he can improve in lots of aspects of his game, but I think for such a young man, he's showing his qualities.
And I guess also for you, if you're turning around to younger players, he came here at, I think, 16, if I remember rightly. He's the example to others that, with hard work and understanding your role, you can develop.
Yeah, when I first came, Sean struggled to get in the team because we had TJ and Alex doing so well. And he had to, mentally be strong for that. And he's got himself in the team, and he knows he's got to keep working hard and doing well, because, other players, TJ and Jacko, and those players want to get in the team as well. So I think that little bit of, like I said, competitiveness around the squad only helps players to keep pushing. And I think, he's a good example for all young players that have come through the academy, that if you're willing to be patient but work hard every day, and then you can get yourself in the team, and then it's about keeping the shirt, isn't it, and keep performing every time.
Just want to ask you about Teddy. I think it'd be fair to say, he's at Lincoln a bit of an enigma. Clearly a very talented player, but the narrative, doesn't play many games. So I made a point of looking actually how many minutes he's played. I think he's 10th or 11th in terms of minutes for outfield players for Lincoln this season. He's been involved in something like 3/4 of Lincoln's games. Are you seeing that sort of marriage, and maybe a bit more of minutes on the pitch to match what his undoubted talent is?
I think everybody can see Teddy's talent. Teddy with the ball is a very talented player, but again, what I've really been impressed with Teddy in the last few games, how well he's worked off the ball, and how strong, and how, in that midfield, how well he's competed. And I think that, again, that adds to his game. I think, we talk about young players and old players, but actually I think all players still want to improve. And I think Teddy's doing that as well at the moment. And his reward is he's getting minutes, and we just need to manage him as always, as all players. Through Saturday, Tuesday, Saturdays, if you like. I think Teddy's another one in form at the minute, and hope he keeps that form.
I'm just also meant to talk about Rico in terms of not just the goals he scored. I think he's up to 4 for the season now, but the chances he creates, and almost the shadow chance. His pass may lead to another pass to an attempt on goal. And just once again, looking through the stats, he really stands out, and it kind of underlines what you've been missing and your predecessors were missing.
Yeah, I think Rico, again, he's come in with some great form. He's had to wait to get fit, and we've had to slowly get him back into the team. And he came on at Wickham, didn't he, with 25 minutes? And I think you see what he brings on that left side. And probably we play a little bit higher with our wide players, which suits Rico. So we're not so deep with our wide players if we can help it. So the wing backs are more like wingers, and that I think that suits Rico's game massively. And out there, he's a threat to anyone. I think everybody's seen that, what he can bring to the team. And again, I just hope his form keeps continuing, keep him fit, and he keeps trying to assist and get goals, which he's been brilliant at since he's come back.
We talk about the injury situation. I know one's not an injury. Connor's clearly going to be available for you, I assume, for Saturday. Adam Jackson, what's the situation with him?
So Jacko, he's had a broken nose, so that's going to be a tough one. We don't really know yet how long that could be. You know, worst case it could be 6-7 weeks. Best case it could be 2 weeks with a mask, but we just don't know the situation. We've just got to let Jacko, breathe properly first before we can think about heading balls again, if you like.
And then Ethan Hamilton, have you got a clearer picture of how long he might be out?
Yeah, Ethan actually back into training today, so that's good news. Whether or not he'll be ready for Saturday, we'll see, but he's back into training, so he's not too far away at all.
A huge plus. I mean, you can tell I've been looking at minutes this week, because he's one of those right at the top in terms of how much he's been available for the club.
Yeah, Ethan Hamilton. Yeah.
Rahan's right at the top.
Yeah, I'm going to say, both Ethans have been really available, play lots of minutes, so it's great again to have that players coming back in, coming from injury, and Connor, who's now, obviously in there as well. So like, there's competition in the middle of the pitch, and they have to perform. And I think all the lads know that now there's competition in all areas that they've all got to perform really.
And is that something, when you're recruiting players, that you'll look at, do you think, in the future, in terms of how many minutes players are getting at whatever club they're at?
Yeah, it's part of it, isn't it? Yeah, it's part of the overall sort of jigsaw puzzle that we look at. Are they playing enough? Are they not playing enough? Are they getting minutes? And how well they're doing with the minutes as well. It's not just, playing, is it? Because they could be in a not so good side, playing lots of minutes. But yeah, we'll look at everything when we start to... Well, we've even started to look at recruitment for the summer already, really.
What's the ambition for the remaining games? Because if you were looking at it dispassionately from outside of Lincoln, you'd say, well, very much in mid-table now. They should have enough points to not get dragged into anything down the bottom. But realistically, playoffs are quite a way off. What do you feel are realistic targets for the players and you this season?
I think first and foremost, we need to keep pushing. You never know what's going to go on in the next sort of few weeks. I think get to the end of February, see where we are. But we need to go out with the same mentality every game to try and go and win it. And we need to do that against a very good Exeter side up until Tuesday, on brilliant form, and turned around a lot of wins. And they were in you just see how well they've climbed the table from a few wins. So in my eyes, there's no reason why a Cheltenham who are coming on and a Charlton who have just changed the manager, we can't. Not that we want to look over our shoulder, but we need to be looking up, because if they can go on the run, why can't we go on a run and try and get some wins and see where we are at the end of February, really? And I think then pictures become clearer for where we're probably settling. What
is it, do you feel, has clicked to Exeter? You've obviously looked at the tapes. I know they had a bad result, but Derby are one of the form teams at the moment. That aside, what do you feel has been the change in them in recently that you need to watch out for?
I think they've always been really, from what I've seen, they've always been really good with the ball. They have lots of possession of the ball, and they keep the ball. Even against Derby, they've kept a lot of possession. So they're very much a possession-based team, and I think that's, if they get that right, they can hurt you, and if they don't get that right, they sometimes hurt themselves, if you like. So I think they've just found a bit of form with the ball, which is up until Derby is really effective.
And just finally, obviously Freddie started Tuesday, Ben came on. Are they kind of competing for one place at the moment in your head?
I think Freddie, we had that decision, didn't we, to who do we... Both of them were, Ben's obviously coming from a long term. Freddie was a little bit struggling with an ankle. And then Freddie came into the game and did really well. But then unfortunately, just before half time on a throw, and he got like a scissor tackle through his ankle again. So I think Freddie's going to be struggling for a bit of time. So I don't think that's a decision I might not even have to make, really. Because I think Ben's looking good and coming and getting minutes. But I think Freddie might be out for the weekend.